And I had seen this girl maybe a couple times, you know what I'm saying? You know, he was 19, so it was like a whole lot of little girls, and I didn't care to meet any of them, you know what I'm saying? But when they came to me and said that she was pregnant, you know what I'm saying? I was excited, you know what I'm saying? And I had asked one of his close buddies.
What advice do I have for a new content creator? Let me see. You gotta have patience. If you want it, you gotta have patience. You have to open up and be willing to take criticism so you can work on your curriculum to become better. You gotta have patience. Advice? Don't give up. Keep continuing to be consistent. Hello, my name is Shaneria, and I do reaction videos. If you are new here, join the family by subscribing. If you're a returner, you already know. I appreciate y'all 100%. You already know what we're gonna do. Let's get straight into today's reaction video.
I used to always be one of them type of persons that always said in somebody else's situation, it couldn't be me. It couldn't be me. Or what I would do in that situation. But you never know what you would do in a situation when a situation really happens to you. 14 years ago. Yeah, 14, almost 14 and a half years ago, I had my first grandbaby. So my son was 19, I think, and I had seen this girl maybe a couple times, you know what I'm saying? You know, he was 19, so it was like a whole lot of little girls, and I didn't care to meet any of them, you know what I'm saying? But when they came to me and said that she was pregnant, you know what I'm saying? I was excited, you know what I'm saying? And I had asked one of his close buddies back there. I'm like, you know anything about this girl? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? She cool? You think she lying about being pregnant? You think it's Calvin's baby? And I'll never forget, he told me, oh, Betty, you ain't got nothing to worry about. She cool, she cool. Yeah, that's Calvin's baby. That's Calvin's baby. So, you know, I was excited. You know, it was my first grandbaby. I had sent it to baby showers, you know what I'm saying? I kept updated about ultrasounds, everything. Time for her to have the baby. Me and my son were present. She had the baby. Everything was great. It was my baby. It was my first grandbaby. Nothing else could be better than that, you know? So it was, you know, never any doubts in my mind, you know what I'm saying, that it wasn't, you know, my grandbaby. My son never gave me any doubts that, you know, that he didn't think it was his baby. So that was my grandbaby, you know, and I did everything for this baby. I mean, this baby was with me literally every day she was with me. You know, she was the love of my life. Everybody knew that. This baby was spoiled. Do you understand me? I nicknamed her Sugar Mama. This baby had everything. You know what I'm saying? We traveled. I went to Evansville with my baby, my hometown, you know, to let my dad's side of the family meet her. I mean, everybody in my family, you know what I'm saying, knew that this was my heart. Fast forward 3 years, which I never knew that it was rumors going around, or, you know, my son had any, you know, doubts in his mind that this wasn't his baby. He never told me any of this. I don't know if it's because maybe to protect my feelings, because he knew how much I loved this baby. I don't know, but later on in the years, you know, he never really explained that part, but I think it was, you know, to protect me, because he knew that I loved this baby to the core heart of my soul. So they had ended up wanting to work, so childcare is like really expensive, so her and the mom had wanted to work. So I'm like, okay, y'all go ahead and y'all work the first shift. I'll get a night shift job, so that way I could babysit my grandbaby and y'all could be able to work. So I started my night shift job, and the good thing about it is, out of that, the night shift job that I started just so happened to be how I met my husband. Because my husband was already at this job and he was working nights there, so that was a good thing that came out of it, of this situation. But I started working nights, and still never any doubts. I never heard any of the rumors, that were going around, saying that this might not be my son's baby and all this. So one night I'm at work, I'm working nights, and I get a beep on my cell phone, and it's saying Kate. And so when I click it open, because we don't supposed to have our cell phones there, so when I click it open, is a long text message. So I'm like, shit, I can't read all this shit. And the only thing I'm thinking in my mind is, maybe her and my son done got into it, they having some problems, like how they usually was. So I just put my phone back, in my pocket. I'm like, well, I'll read it when I get on break. So break time came, and I get in the break room. I'm happy, I think I had just started dating my husband. I think maybe me and my husband had been on like one date. So, we were still freshly in the little courting stage. So, we always sit together on break and all that. So we were sitting there. I think I heated up some kind of food or whatever. So we sitting there talking. I'm like, shit, let me look at this text message this girl done sent me. I know this boy probably acting a fool, thinking, my son done probably did something. So I opened up the text message and I start to read it. And my heart sunk. My heart sunk. Because it's saying, your son said I had to be the one to tell you, since I was the one who hurt you. I'm so sorry, but we did a blood test, and she's not his. When I say my heart hurt, my heart fell, and my husband, who was, just somebody who I was dating, and was like, well, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Oh, I tried to hold back so many tears. And I had to end up going back to work. And I ended up working with my mind just racing on hundreds of things. Like, when did this happen? When did this blood test happen? When was this? My mind is racing. So we usually got off like about 3-something in the morning. So I'm going to my car. My husband asking me, are you okay? You gonna be okay to drive home? Yeah, because I had told him, about it. We was just only been on a couple of days, but I told him, I'm like, well, damn, she just sent me a message saying that Suge is not my son's. So I went home that night, and I went to my room, and I cried. And I didn't tell anyone. I don't even remember if my son was even there that night. I don't know. I don't know if he was there, if he was asleep, but I just remember just being in my room crying. And I remember my daughter getting up for work, and her coming in my room because I was still crying. And she tried to act like, she didn't know. Well, she didn't know about that they had took the DNA test, but she knew about all the rumors and everything else. Like, everybody knew but me. So I told her, I'm like, she told me in a text message, I thought we was better than that. Even if it was bad news, she told me in a text message. So my daughter's like, well, woo. Just trying to tell me a little bit of the situation. She's not really trying to tell me everything. So I just remember just being so hurt. So the next day, I got myself together. I think I had ended up calling my sister and my mom. And I just remember my sister just going completely off. She wanted everybody's head. That's how my sister is. She wanted to whip her ass. She wanted to do this. And I'm like, no, it ain't that deep. She's like, no, she hurt you. And I remember crying to my sister. I remember crying to my mama. You talking about a hurt. Whew. That was a hurt. It's like that hurt. You know that hurt when you first go through a man's phone that you really care about and you find all this stuff, or you catch your baby daddy cheating. You know that goddamn hurt. You know that sinking feeling in your stomach that you get that just tears your body apart. That's how I felt. That's how I felt for the next 3 days. That's how I felt. I thought I was gonna be able to finish my little story in this time, but I guess I'm gonna have to make a part 2. So my son ended up coming home the next day, and he didn't want to talk. He's not one to express his feelings, but I knew he was hurt. All he wanted me to let me know is that baby was not allowed at my house. I had to forget about this baby. That baby was no longer ours. He didn't care. He didn't want nothing to do with her. He didn't want nothing to do with the baby. He didn't want them nowhere around. And he made that clear to me. But I couldn't.
I get where he coming from. Like, girl, what? 3 years? Like, my mom and them love that baby. Like, I get it. He was hurt. He just was angry. He was done. Like, he was real done. But usually boys like to talk to their mothers. Like, boys like to tell their mother a lot of stuff, especially if rumors going around. So I'm thinking he was trying to protect his mother, or thinking that his mother was going to whoop her ass herself, like trying to keep his mother out of trouble. Something made him not tell his mother. And not only that, like, the sister only knew certain stuff. So he wasn't really telling nobody that much other than the rumors that people was going around saying. But he really, really kept his mother in the dark. Like, that auntie wasn't playing. I'm that type of auntie. Like, what? Who? I'm that type of sister that's ready. Like, what you say? What? Okay. But dang, 3 years? 3. And then went and got a paternity test without his mama even knowing. Like, what? These people be so messy. But let it be the other way around, and they are the grandparents and the daddy, and they don't do shit or want to be around or don't have no dealings. Like, it'll be all this. He a deadbeat, his family a deadbeat, his mama a deadbeat, shit, deadbeat grandma. But then you got ones that's there and get smacked in the face like this.
Now, when I say I couldn't let this child go, I couldn't. It was like I craved for this child. I was used to being around this child every day for 3 years. I craved her. So, I know my son was hurting. So, I tried. I tried my longest. But my youngest son at the time, he had a little girlfriend, and they were named, her godmom. She was named her godmom, when my first grandbaby was born. So I knew she still kept her. So I would literally sneak over to her house to see this baby. I would sneak over there just to see this baby. I couldn't let this baby go. It was my heart. I heard it. I know my son was hurting, and I hurt like I don't know what, but I could not let this baby go. I just couldn't turn the love off like my son wanted me to do. I couldn't do that. So I was sneaking and still seeing this baby for about maybe like 2 months, maybe. So after 2 months, I guess her and my son had, finally had a talk, and they decided to, work some things out or whatever. So as he called it, he was lifting the hold Because the whole was that this baby could never come over my house. I could never talk to this baby. I couldn't do anything. So they had called themselves, like working it out. And I'm like, yes, I can be able to see her. Me and her mom had a long talk, and I told her that no matter what, happened between her and my son, if this time around didn't work out or whatever, I still want to be in this baby's life. I still want to. So she agreed on that. So, they was trying to make it work out or whatever, but it wasn't going to work, with them, even after they tried, because the same buddy that I told y'all about that I went and asked when she first got pregnant, what about this girl? Do you really think this? Do you really think that I talked about in part 1 of my story? Well, he ended up being the daddy of that baby. Yeah, my son's buddy. Yeah, so I knew that him and her relationship wouldn't work, but like I said, I love this baby so much that I still told her I wanted to be in her life. So my son, was just not her daddy. My daughter was still her TT. I was still her nanny. She still had Uncle Will. She still had Uncle Bug. She still had my mom, my sisters, my niece's kids. We raised them all together. So it was just like, still family, something we accepted. Everybody thought I was crazy at first. And everybody thought once I had my grandbaby, my first biological grandbaby, that I will forget about this child. But no, my heart wouldn't let me. My heart would not let me forget about this child. So here we are, 13 years later. I'm still in this child's life, still very active in this child's life. She's still my first grandbaby. She's still a part of our family. Her mom is now gone on, and she's had 4 other kids, and we still talk. We still cool. We're a normal family. A lot of people may not understand it, but yeah, I'm still her nanny, and I'll always be her nanny. But that's my story time. I wouldn't have it no other way.
I mean, at the end of the day, shit happens. Like, your son went back and forgave her messy ass and tried to work it out. It definitely wasn't going to work out because, what? You messed with his friend? Girl, what? Now I understand why he was so eager to cut the whole situation off. This child was his friend baby. What? I wonder, did he cut the friend off too? Probably not. But one thing about it is, like, don't get a test done. Stop bringing these babies to your mamas and telling your mamas in the beginning stages, because baby, the person gonna be hurt is you. That child, ooh, but it hits a whole nother way when the mama done invested time, energy, and she got a big heart. She has a big heart, because a lot of people would just cut the whole thing off. And not the friend vouching, like, oh, she a good girl, she blah blah, knowing you slept with that girl. He didn't want that baby to be his. That's what it was. He didn't want to take care of no baby. He wasn't ready for a baby, so he tried to hurt and pin it on his homeboy, because his homeboy was messing with her too. But damn, you went after the homeboy? She got serious issues. She got self-esteem. Something wrong with her. That is crazy. I don't like fault the son, because yeah, we can't be friends. We can't talk no more. Don't bring that baby around. Like, girl, are you crazy? I'm just happy that his mother had a big heart. I'm happy she still in that little girl life. And you never know, like, how much of an impact it is that the family is still around her. Like, she still could come around the family. Like, she probably could be that getaway when things are extra at home due to her mother having 4 other children. So, yeah. You guys, drop down in the comment section what you think about this story. Would you do the same thing? Or would you just ghost the child too? Like, yeah. Drop down in the comment section what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, join this family by subscribing. Y'all, I have a new way of doing videos, so sometimes you're gonna see me and sometimes you won't, but I am going to continue to drop the gems, drop the stories, drop these reactions, and we're gonna keep going. If you are returning, I really, really appreciate you guys, and you know it, and you know what to do. Also, like, comment, and share this video. You guys, I hope you all have a blessed day. Peace.